Hello, Miami. This is 305 Sports Now, your home podcast and now channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will. And if you're joining us in the YouTube stratosphere, okay, you're watching this visually, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel 305 Sports Now. Thank you very much. Joining us today is a special guest and friend of the show, the founder and CEO of 305 Fights TV, Mr. Elio Tarragó himself. Elio, what's up, my friend? How you doing?
305, where the champions rise, donde surgen los campeones. Little Havana, Manuel Temi Theater, Saturday, September 3rd. I'm doing great. 305 Sports, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, man. I'm really glad to have you back on. I'm really excited for this card. As I told the other fighters and so on that I've interviewed on this podcast, I had a great time, back in May, and I look forward to once again covering the event September 3rd. You have a magnificent a show that you put on, and it's very entertaining, and basically it's just a lot of fun. But one thing I will say that it is a family affair, man. So how's your family doing in terms of the promotion? I know your wife does a lot, so how's that going?
It's going great. It is a family affair. Everybody's doing great. Thanks to Elio Tarragó. She's the partner, the co-CEO. She does a lot of the work. We have a great team. A lot of our team are students in martial arts. They're fighters. They're people that are in the arena, that are involved in the martial arts and combat sports. So, one of the fighters told me that it was really cool that we're developing a culture. Also, it's going to be great to have you again. You had fun. We're going to have a lot of fun this time. We're creating a 305 culture.
Yeah, most definitely. I had a great time. Last time we talked about, the expansion of 305, and we talked about events that you've been participating in. After our interview, what's up? I mean, I've seen you on social media. You're everywhere, Elio. I mean, everywhere, including my alma mater, the University of Miami. And I know you have participation. You participated with them as well. You've worked with them as well. What's new? Who else have you added on? Where else have you been? What other doges you working with?
Well, that's a great question. Like you said, look, we're everywhere. We've recently started going to a lot of tournaments, martial arts tournament, karate tournaments. We just went to HIT International. They had people from Venezuela, Santo Domingo. It was international. We covered them. Local schools, international schools. We started our program with the University of Miami, a nonprofit organization. Shouts out to Craig McQueen. He's the sports administrator. And it's a program in Morse Park, Alapata, where I started martial arts to bring martial arts to the community. So it's really great. We've been hitting all the schools. We've been making a lot of progress and contacts, a lot of activity. It's really great. Thanks to you and all the outlets, been reaching out to us. Cerebro in Sports, Deportes. It's really great. We're getting the word out. We're growing. We're expanding. 305 is the culture of Miami where immigrants, people come and they thrive. That's why we say where the champions rise.
Yeah, listen, anything you need, you let me know. You're like family here, at 305 Sports. Okay, so anything you need, let me know. You need me to talk up an event that you'll be attending to, I'll be glad to promote it. I love working with you. I love working with your family. I've known your nephew for years, as well as your brother. So I'm very happy that you're doing very well. Yes. And again, man, we're here to help each other out. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I was going to reach out to you after the podcast. Okay. Because we cover boxing events, other events, and actually wanted you to go with us. Because like I said, I think the more that we support each other, the more we cover events, the more we create this culture.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, anything you need, man, you let me know, and I'll try to make it work. Per se, when it comes to getting your word out there, getting the 305 word out there, getting what we're doing here as well out there. Again, I want to go over your fight card once again. You are absolutely loaded. I want to let the audience know out there. Okay, manual art time. Over in La Pequeña Habana, it opens at 6. All right, and I guarantee you will be there up to almost 11 o'clock at night. This fight card is absolutely loaded. But a favorite of our show over here at 305 Sports Now is Mr. Christian Escalin, one of your champions. I had a wonderful time interviewing him. A very nice young man, very confident, okay, which is what you want out of your fighters, very well skilled and has a good brain for fighting. He was supposed to have a major fight, September 3rd, but his partner dropped out. What exactly happened, and what's going to be his role on the 3rd of September?
Well, that's a great question. One of the things that we want to do with the public, and I'm sure you want to do too, is communicate, inform, and educate. The game of combat sports, martial arts happens. Paige Van Zandt was supposed to fight in bare knuckle in London the day before her fight was dropped. That's something that, one of the things that we have managers, agents, and I always tell the fighters, communicate with us. We want to inform them. They're just variables in this arena of things that happen. We have last minute injuries, not making weight, the last minute problems with the paperwork. So there are sometimes last minute issues that come back. But that's part of the game. You got to come back. Look at Amanda Nunes. She lost. She came back. She just won. This is part of the arena. By the way, not only can you go to 305fights.tv, the website, to subscribe to our pass, but you can get the pay-per-view, and you can actually catch it on pay-per-view. That's something also. We have a streaming company, a new streaming company, a lot of things happening. He's going to be there. Mr. Esquilin's going to be there. We're going to be announcing his double title fight November, he's going to be giving out some awards. His school, Eric El Tigre Cantayo, Young Tigers, Manny Del Rio, all the schools, everybody's there. We support all the martial arts. So it's going to be a great time.
It just popped in my head, so I have to ask you. Speaking of fighters and champions, how's Sammy doing?
Sammy's doing great. They're doing all wonderful. That's another thing is, we cover a lot of events and also even other arenas and sponsors, because there's so many things going on. Look, combat sports, mixed martial arts is still growing and expanding. They've set up training facilities in Mexico. Just as UFC, they have Mexican winners. Puerto Rico, Santo Domingo, Central and South America. The Middle East is expanding. China is expanding. This is something that a lot of things are going on. So there's a lot of variables. I mean, you see in the UFC, those guys have been around forever. Mm-hmm. They're a billion-dollar company, and you see that they still have to move around. Other companies and other things that's just part of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, mixed martial arts, like I said, it's a very strong, it's a very strong sport, very tough sport. There's a lot of the business side of things I do find very fascinating as well. So I think that, the fact that you're adding a new streaming service is also very good. Adding pay-per-view, I think that's again, what you guys are doing over at 305 Fights TV, you really are. I also think you're also very evolutionary, because you're also allowing, specialized styles, and we talked about this before, to also be part of your event.
Oh yes, talking about that.
Yes, go ahead.
We're still having and promoting our sports MMA, which is 18 and under. We want to get a sport MMA champion. We have our kickboxing. We're going to have a kickboxing champion. We have our grappling, wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu, no gi. We're going to have a grappling champion. Of course, we have our MMA. We're going to have an MMA champion. November. First time we're saying it. A little surprise. November, we're actually going to have a judo match. We're going to actually have a judo match. I'm telling you, 305 is going to bring all combat sports entertainment to South FLA.
Yeah. Like I said, is there any match in particular in regards to your kickboxing match that you want to go over, like a particular card that you think the audience should pay very close attention to?
Yes. You said Mr. Roundtree, David Roundtree, he's coming back. He's been a favorite in 305 Fights. He's fighting Alex de Aguila, which is also a favorite. He's been in 305 Fights. He's done MMA. Now he's doing kickboxing. These two young men have this 305 culture that we're developing. They have the skill, they have the energy, and they have the drive. Those three things make for an exciting, incredible fight.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to talk about your young guns, man. Christian Vasquez, he's gonna go at it again. What can you say about him as an individual, as an up and coming star, and within that bracket that you have there in terms of those young kickboxing MMA guys?
Yes, Christian Vasquez against Sean Smart. That's gonna be another incredible fight. If you look at even the sport MMA, if you look at those fights, the amateur fights. It doesn't matter. These fights, if you look, they're at the level of world international fights like Bellator, UFC, because they're hungry, they're talented. Christian Vasquez is coming again. I told you the story. We've been watching him since a teenager in the tournaments, and he wasn't able to even qualify yet for the sport of MMA. Finally, he qualified for the sport of MMA. Soon, he'll be going to the amateurs and then professionals. And that's what we want to do. We want to create like a ladder all the way to the top. That's why we say again, donde surgen los campeones.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You know, his striking is unbelievable. Those leg kicks that he delivers, you know, were just phenomenal. The night that I was there, you know, he was aggressive.
He's a very good, and he's a very good grappler too. Very good wrestling.
Okay.
His coach Manny Del Rio is an Olympic Cuban wrestling coach. You know, like I said, these young guys, South Florida has incredible talent, and they have the Dade County 305 energy, which makes for dynamite.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't realize how much talent comes out of South Florida. You know, especially the schools like American Top Team and so on have a strong basis in South Florida. So mixed martial arts, because I mean, South Florida, when they think of South Florida, people think of football and baseball, you know, for the most part, because of the University of Miami, the phenomenal athletes it's put in the NFL, plus the national championships, and baseball because of the Latin atmosphere, you know, and basically if you're from the Dominican Republic or Cuba, you can play anywhere. And let's not forget Puerto Rico is another one. Yeah, you can play anywhere. You know, you'll be the best player if you go anywhere else around the country because it's just inbred, you know, within our culture.
Correct.
MMA is also a huge component of it as well. You know, guys like Jorge Masvidal and stuff like that, you know, got their roots here. And his name escapes me, that Cuban beast that was tearing it up in Bellator. I can't remember his name. You know,
Hector Lombard.
Yes, thank you, Hector Lombard. Yes, Hector Lombard is a product of South FLA as well. You know, so this is a bastion for mixed martial arts as well.
Oh yes, and it's international. Just yesterday, we have some contacts. We had a meeting with people in Colombia. We have MMA fighters that want to go to Colombia. They want to come to 305. They want 305 to go to Colombia. Boxing, the Colombian boxing wants to come into Miami because Miami is also a hotbed for boxing. Look, you said American Top Team up there, American Top Team. You have a female gold medalist, Olympic U.S. gold medalist. She's the captain of the team. She's now they're trying to fight her a fight with Cyborg, and it's $1 million fight. So I said it before in the last show. It's in the capital of combat sports is Miami, LA, New York.
I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And
another thing that we're looking for, like I said, we want to have 305 fights wants to have title champions in all combat sports. We're gonna have a great no-gi grappling fight, super fight with Hernando Cruz and Berlin Carroll. Let me tell you, I don't want to say that I want to give them credit both, but one of them had 2 different partners drop out. This kid was so good, nobody wanted to fight him. The other gentleman stepped up with that South Florida energy, and it's going to be a high-level class grappling match for the title.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, really, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, if you guys want to see mixed martial arts, but you also like the traditional martial arts, like the no-gis and the kickboxing, you got to check out this event on September 3rd. Or if you can't make it to the Manual Art Time Center, you know, Elio is, as I mentioned, you know, you could stream the fights from 305 Fights TV with a subscription or just all around streaming as well per pay-per-view. So one other thing I want to, like I said, you have a very loaded card. Before I get into the matchup between Brian Falero and Gerardo Delgado, you know, and so on, any individual fights that you want us to focus on in particular?
Listen, all of these guys, but just to be quick, Gerson Talisi, this is a gentleman, he's a superstar in kickboxing. He's making his MMA debut. You got to check him out. You have David Tesero. He's went for the sports title championship. He's a contender. He's making his MMA debut. In fact, in one of our tutorials that we have in 305 Fights TV, you go to the past, you can get all this information. He was in a tutorial. Super talented young man. like I said, these guys are on, a lot of them making debuts from the sport MMA, a lot of them coming from boxing, kickboxing, and making their MMA debut. So you have super talent with super energy.
That's yeah, it's just great. And like I said, you have a loaded card. Just to let, I'm gonna count for you. All right. This is not including the preliminaries. All right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, listening at home or on your cars or on your cell phones, whatever device you use to listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 10 fights, all right, of MMA that you're gonna get that night. And that's not including the kickboxing fights, which are about 4, and the under 18 rounds, which is about 3. They're the sport MMA. So you have
and the grappling.
The grappling. I forgot to mention the grappling. So you have literally about 12 engagements that you can watch in terms of the fights. So if you like MMA and you want to see some rising stars and you want to say to yourselves, hey, I remember that guy when he was fighting at the man. This is the event you got to go to, right? This event you got to watch as well over at 305 Fights TV, or you can go over to La Pequeña Habana and enjoy it firsthand live. And let me tell you, when you're watching it firsthand live, the flips, the drops, you can hear the cage just smashing and stuff like that. The ground. I mean, it is. They say hockey is one of the best sports to watch live on TV. No. Hockey's great, as well. But if mixed martial arts is definitely entered. Even if you're not a fan, all right. If you're not a fan, if you just want to, I'm gonna go because my buddies want to go and stuff like that. You're not going to be disappointed.
Yes,
it is an amazing to watch live.
Because it's a dynamic sport. Combat sports is dynamic. The energy, the ring girls, the music. That's why the theme, we always have themes. The theme is Enter the 305, like Enter the Dragon. If you remember Enter the Dragon, it was like he said, Ban Su Han said in the movie, a tournament of epic proportions. They bring people from all over the world, international, to see who's going to be the best. So you're right. It's a hotbed for entertainment and energy.
All right. And I gotta talk about the main events. I have a soft spot for this this kid because I was a teacher at the school he was at when he was a high school student. Mr. Brian Falero, the Cuban samurai, right, versus Gerardo Delgado for the championship. What you gotta say about those two individuals?
Man, I'll tell you what. A shout out to ISK, our sanctioning body, the oldest, the biggest world sanctioning body. They have their job cut out. John Morrison has his job cut out because all these guys have a place in my heart. They're all great kids. They're all great people, great women, and talented. So it's hard to pick a winner. Mr. Brian Falero was in a second event with us. I've known him for a long, long time. He's training really with a really good camp. Gerardo Delgado, Lalo, just met this young man. What an attitude. He's also been training for a while, but he was out for a while. So he's going to come from a comeback. Let me tell you who I think is going to win, because they have the skill. They have the energy. They have the attitude. The one that is smartest, the one, I keep saying this, the one that does the strategy and tactics. Mike Tyson says, people think that combat sports is for animals. Combat sports is for smart people. Mm-hmm. If you're not smart, you get hurt in this game. So what am I saying? Is the one that implements his fight. For example, if Brian Falero can mix his great karate striking with his incredible wrestling that you saw, he's going to dominate. If Lalo Delgado comes in there and brings his striking and his experience, he's going to dominate. So it's the one that can keep composed under this pressure and fight his fight. My coach, kickboxing champion of the world, Scott Aston, he said, the two things you need to win is stay relaxed and work your game plan.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you got to fight your fight. I mean, like I was telling Brian, in conversation, I was telling Brian, I think what made GSP a good fighter is that he would take away your best ability and use it to his advantage. So if GSP was taking on a striker, he took him down. By the way, George St. Pierre was my favorite fighter when I was younger, and he was still fighting. So I love GSP. I think that he's a master statistician as well as a excellent fighter. If you're a striker, he took you down. If you were a wrestler, he kept you up. It's pretty much he never played your game. And I think that for both those individuals, they can't let their opponent dictate the match. They have to dictate the match themselves.
Look, one of the events that we just covered, because like you said, we're everywhere. We covered Mario the Zen Machine Sperry's seminar. He was talking about events that are happening. They're having the World Jiu-Jitsu Championships, and they're going to have a 16 master seminar. He himself is a legend in Vale Tudo, K1, and he was saying in his seminar, if the guy's a striker and you're a grappler, you have to use your striking to take him to grappling. If you just try to strike only, if you try to grapple only, boom, you get knocked out. Look what happened to Usman in this last UFC.
Yeah.
He was going to break Silva's record. Undefeated, incredible champion, was winning the fight. I think was 30, 40, 50 seconds left. Okay? He stopped his game plan. He was coasting. The other guy noticed that he was bobbing and weaving like boxing. Now, that's good for boxing, but what happened is when he weaved, he covered the punch, but he couldn't cover the kick. So the other guy, Edwards, was smart enough to see that. And with seconds left at the end of the round, knocks him out. The biggest upset in UFC, new champion out of Jamaica and the UK.
It wasn't just knockout. He became a meme.
Yeah, yes, like, yes. And you know that in the fight before, Dominic, the Dominator Cruz, UFC legend, commentator, champion, the same thing, brand new guy comes in, Mexico, for one of the Mexican stars. He has very good boxing. He follows Willie Pep, all the old school boxers. He knew that. So what did he do? He capitalized his strategy. He weaved to the left, head kick, and it was knocked that they're going to have to give him a new social security number.
Yeah, I mean, it's unpredictable. It really is. The UFC is unpredictable. Well, not the UFC, but MMA in general is unpredictable. Like I remember when Frank Mir and Brock Lesnar went at it. You know, Brock Lesnar was a heavy favorite because of his wrestling, and then Frank Mir got him with a heel lock, and so on. So it was over. Yeah. You know, for the most part.
You know, you were talking about, all these legends, the coaches in the corners. We've had Joel Romero in the corner. We're gonna have from American Top Team Sunrise, Sensei Roger Cole. I gotta give him a shout out. Old school friend of mine, old school martial artist. He was Amanda Nunes' coach. She chose him to come back, and you see what they planned. They switched stances, which is actually won her the fight. So the coaches in the corner, when you go to the fights, these are world-renowned coaches, international. I'm telling you, if you want to be in combat sports, if you want to be in sports, South Florida 305 is where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, man. Really, really appreciate your insight. And I'm glad you mentioned that because of the fact that way the audience can know who is involved, in terms of the mixed martial arts game here in South Florida. Elio, we are pressed for time, as I mentioned earlier, before the show started. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I just want to thank you, 305 Sports. I want to thank all the journalists, all the press that cover us, our sponsors, Sergio Printing, Dynamic Wellness. There's so many of them. I just want to thank all of them. I want to thank our martial arts students from Natural Motion System. That's our staff that helps us. Our new security company. We have so many people that are supporting us. 305 Fights is growing because of everybody in the 305 in South Florida that's supporting us. Thank you for the culture. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man, and thank you as well for coming on to our show. I know you're a busy guy, and thank you for taking the time to come on here and talk to us and so on here at 305 Sports. We greatly appreciate it. All right, ladies and gents, if you really, like I said, we've been talking about it earlier. If you really want to watch some good MMA, please, you could buy tickets over 305 Fights TV and go to the Emmanuel Artan Theater in La Pequeña Habana, September 3rd at 6 p.m. Or you could stream it live once again by going to 305fights.tv. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share to the YouTube channel here at 305 Sports Now. Also, if you are listening to the audio version, don't forget to download on Anchor, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts as well. All right, once again, for Elio of Tarragó, I am Will. Be safe. God bless. See you soon.